have it wrong. We have Anita, Jamie, Jacinta, Lucky, Tibor, Ayman, Sim, Jimmy, Cole, Ross, Dean, and we have a treat for today. We're gonna have Ben.
No.
Oh goodness! Wait, I'm just gonna. It has to be this way so it can bend. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do I need to hold this? Or?
Yes. Yeah, there is a mic there.
Okay.
Okay, so welcome everyone. And Ben knows Bob for what, a couple of decades?
Yeah, 2009 was the first time I met Bob, and resonated from the first meeting. I sort of resonated with what was being said, and between then and 2012, I think I would come down like at least once a year, if not twice, to just check in. And then in 2012, I moved to Melbourne. I was here for 6 years, and so, yeah, particularly initially, I was like every meeting, 3 a week or whatever it was, and then it was sort of here and then, but still fairly regular, more or less to the end. And then, you know, the last couple of years, it was sort of more just checking in and having lunch, and not feeling as, I, at least cerebrally at the time, as filled up as I could have been with all the pointers and whatever, and I didn't feel like I needed any more to hear the same thing over and over. Just let it be, yeah. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. He was certainly one of the key reasons I moved to Melbourne, and yeah, I've stuck with that tasting that he offers ever since. I wouldn't say I'm seeking anymore per se, but you know, dream character still gets hung up here and there on whatever, but then and then, you know, it clears out of its own accord as well. So yeah, that's how I came to be here, really, through events that I wasn't a spiritual seeker, actually. You know, I was suffering immensely, but I didn't realize that was the remedy for it. And so, yeah, it was just, without boring with details, it's just a natural unfolding that brought me to that. And plays a part, as we were just discussing, in what's continuing in my life now, you know, without Bob even consciously having a part in it. Just, you know, with the connections with my career and stuff now, he had a big part of that. Still does.
So I invited Ben as just yet another example for you and for everyone of incredible effectiveness of Bob's pointing, which takes people beyond the need for further help. So to see the message from so many angles, through so many different voices, just really brings up the simplicity of it, just highlights how clear and clean and obvious it is. You know, you don't really have to even, there is no requirement that needs to be met. You are that already. So I invited Ben to give us a few of the pointers, because yes, the last few years, Ben was living far, far, far away in different locations around the world, and we would catch up, have the family catch up sort of a thing, the family of one, is reflecting the clarity in each other's eyes, just having lunches. It's just welcome home type of a gathering. And we never discussed pointers anymore. We never spoke non-duality anymore, because there's nothing to talk about. So now I'm really grateful that you could come.
Well, let's see. I don't know what I'm going to say, so let's
find out.
Yeah, let's find out. I'll just go for it. Yeah, I think, like, I guess it's the same for everyone here. The beauty of Bob's approach is one that, you know, you could put it as that everything's primordially pure and uncorrupted from the outset. So there's no question of ever being contaminated. Which is quite a rare approach. And then what's offered is looking and seeing and finding if that's the case, as opposed to trying to become pure or trying to become less contaminated. And of course, you've already put yourself in a position of, well, there's something to gain or acquire, or there's a sense of lack there, or whatever. So, Bob's style, which resonated with me, very much just directly looking at what's already innately present and never really change. Well, it doesn't change that that sense of being or presence is non-conceptual, and it's self-knowing. It doesn't require anything at all to validate it. So whatever would be said or spoken would be after the fact that it's already there. And just directly tasting and recognizing that backbone, or whatever you want to call it, that knows itself and is always on and is always ceaseless. It can't be started up. You can't end it. And so when you essentially sort of just get a taste of that and abide in that, and see that whatever comes up that might be considered an obstruction is also that. It's sort of it sort of quashes any need to go beyond or seek outside of it. And I guess, like, if you want to call it awareness, for the sake of labeling it, it's already accepted, or beingness, it's already accepted everything, because it is everything. So the seeing right now and all of its content, that's it. That's already it. And so if there's a problem with that, it's just conceptual, based on an abstracted reference point, creating this simulation between a subject and an object, which is good for the dream character and this dream perhaps, but ultimately it's all just a simulation of fiction. It's just costumes. And when it's dropped, again, the beingness isn't dropped. You can't drop out of it. You can't come into it. You can't run away from it. You can't escape it. So, that for me is, basically like a yana yoga. You see through the inquiry itself that's evident and true. It's not based on a doctrine or a dogma or can you call it a practice? It's just like whether the consciousness registers or recognizes what's already so. So if you want to call that a practice, but of course, who would be the one practicing? And so it comes up from that place and dissolves from that place and is recognized from that place. And it's sort of, it can only really leave you in that sort of spacious, aware, silent presence, or whatever you wish to call it. And then abiding in that, things have a tendency to flow more effectively. And there's not really, there's nothing static about it. It's not like there's any point or place ever. You're talking about, like, it's something, it took me a while to sort of, like, one of those, Bob will say a lot of things, but there always be a couple of things there that are said that are a bit like, I'm still not fully sure what he means by that, or hasn't fully registered. So one of those things for me would have perhaps been when he said, there is only now. If it's 1 billion years, it's right now. The Big Bang is right now. and all of that. And I was like, right. So, but it did finally really register what that meant, you know, that essentially, whatever you come up with about anything, literally, you're doing it in this living moment. So, you know, if you are someone that likes to entertain notions and ideas of there being XYZ dimensions and all these different worlds and realms and all of that, you certainly can, and samsara may well provide for you those projections. But again, all of that is arising within this moment. So the whole thing, which is everything, literally, that's ever been conceived or could be conceived or will be conceived, it's always in this, you know. And so that's kind of amazing, really. Like, you know, it's all just one omnipresent interaction that transcends time and space and includes all those apparent time and space hallucinations, which are infinite and endless. And at the same time, yeah, it's nothing, you know. So that's sort of, you know, the cognizing emptiness, or the animated intelligence of that space, which you are. So you recognize you're that space, and then everything is just animating intelligence of that space, and you're not in relationship with it anymore, because, you know, I guess just like if a ribbon's in a knot, it doesn't know it's in a knot because it doesn't have an objective correlation, because you are the ribbon, you're just that fabric. So if those mental abstractions aren't going on, and this objective sort of thing going on, then yeah, there's just, again, that self-knowing beingness. You're at the heart of the whole show. Um, yeah, I don't know what else really to say than that about it, if I was just going to try and keep it. Mm.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's it. That's the essence.
Yeah, it's kind of it. Yeah, you can call it a heart. It is kind of, it feels that way. Yeah, you feel at home. You know, at home's not a location. And it's not a person. If you're trying to find wholeness or completeness through an object relation, you're going to be most likely very disappointed, or perhaps be able to tolerate each other. But it's not going to give you a resolution. And only that non-conceptual awareness or beingness, it's its own resolution, you know. And then sort of, rather than just being in survival, I mean, the dream character still needs its comforts and needs to have its nervous system quelled and needs a home in its dream. But you're at home already, just within that presence and that beingness. And in that sense, you're sort of just watching the scenery change. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't know how long we went for, but I guess.
Yeah, well, it's a good introduction.
Okay.
So, yeah, thank you.
All right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful. Stay
welcome.
there. You maybe just
Yeah,
interacting and
sure.
answering questions.
No problem.
I don't know if there's anyone from online. Morning, folks. We just have. Hello, everyone. So there are no questions. If anyone who is watching with us has any questions, please pop them in. And apart from that, yeah, I just loved every word. This is really the essence, and I love also that sort of presentation which comes from the space-like perspective. So this is what is happening. Bob would often take the other angle, like you see, and you did say it, you know, how what stands in the way, what obscures it. So you are already at home, and you may see the dream character throwing tantrum. or looking for safety or for pleasure or whatever, the nervous system trying to do whatever it is conditioned to do. Just like that cat here is conditioned to find the most optimal, to find pleasure. This is the little biocomputer programmed to always find
its own algorithm.
Algorithm, yes, and you are the presence, always already here, just aware of that dynamic there. So of course there is, like if there is any movement or any desire to go and enhance the skills in which the dream may be a little bit more pleasant, for example, get a job and get money, or get some healthy diet and get the healthy body. Yes, the dream may be more pleasant, but it doesn't touch that which is aware, which is already here, which is already at home.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and what is it that actually brings that idea that, yes, I get it, but I don't experience it? Who is that I that doesn't experience it? Who is it? And now you will see that the experience sync is happening all the time. And the idea or the construct that there is some sort of a separate entity, there is some me, some driver in a seat, is always a bunch of concepts, ideas appearing in that which is already here. In that which you beautifully explained also, the time concept landing, that everything, Big Bang, where is Big Bang if I don't think about it? It is not. It's potentially there, but it is not. The moment I bring the thought, it's now. Of course. So all the past, all the future, everything only exists as a thought right now.
Yeah. Well, it's like, if someone, a lot of people probably experience this, someone dies, that's, and you think they're still alive.
Yeah.
And then you get told so and so, and then they died for you in that moment of perceiving it.
Yeah.
And so, if you take that quite far, you start to see that all these things we call identity and all this thing, it's such an ephemeral fantasy. It's a form of magic, really. Like when you look at, most of the world buy into words. And words are like spells, they call it spelling, spell a word.
Wow, good point.
I've got a big theory on this, we won't go there, but, it's sort of like, and so if you get bound by words, they're very powerful. And if you know this, as I believe some people do, it gives you a certain power over others, because you can manipulate perception very easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're coloring it with words, and which become beliefs.
Yes.
And then that becomes your modulation of perception, even though someone else will be looking at the same object, have a completely different modulation going on. So, it's like all of that of what we call personal is wrapped up in that sort of memory-bound perceptual fiction, which is kind of like, which version of Cat's the true version? The one I've got, one Bob had, your version.
Which concept is right?
It's always changing, and so these are all costumes of this consciousness that generates this dreamlike world or fantasy or whatever you want to call it. And so the only constant there is that which is free of all that, which is that impersonal sense of presence or beingness. And who knows what sort of nervous system or form that's going to show up in, and whatever it does show up in, and whatever it says, whatever, it's just, what's another character of that, with its so-called downloads of how it sees things and whatever, all fiction. And yet that's how this thing operates.
Absolutely. Bob used to say that, the belief in the I, in a separate self, is like a hypnotic suggestion. We've been under that hypnosis day in and day out, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Everyone relating to themselves as I, and a little child imitating the adults and started relating to itself as I. And then that concept, that idea of self being this, being a little girl or a little boy, or being Polish or being Greek or being whatever it is, grew over time, and those sticky labels accumulated and rig out the beautiful golden cage of concepts, golden if I have healthy self-esteem, or the iron of horrible if I have unhealthy self-esteem. Either way, there is a concept. And as you said, which concept is right? Bob would say everyone has a concept about each other, and everyone have the concept about themselves. And those concepts are not even steady.
Not at all.
You will have a different concept as a child. You'll have different concept when you had a big breakfast. You'll have a different concept if someone tells you something nice, or if someone offends you. And the words, again, the power of belief, the hypnotic power that the energy of belief gives to the words, creates the dream in which, if you are growing up in the tribe of Aboriginal people, and the agreed upon reality is if you point the gun, you're gonna die.
And you believe it.
Object to it.
Right.
And it works 100% of the time. So we have agreed upon reality of the gravity. We have agreed upon reality of the past and future. And it is experienced, and it is believed, and it is never questioned. And there is no problem. If you can see all this as that constructed reality of a story, overlaying that which never changes, that which is true and real forever, that presence, that being, never changing. No matter what story comes upon it, story of my good self-esteem, or my healthy or unhealthy, or somebody offending me or criticizing me or diminishing me or strengthening me, or whatever the me.
And that me is always based on, because it's based on feeling like it's separate, it's always insecure, which is why whether most people like it or not, they're seeking validation.
Oh, of course.
And what's the opposite of that is the criticism. So you essentially already got would appear to me, most people have this default unconscious belief that they're not good enough. Hence the need to validate. Otherwise, why? Or why be concerned by criticism? Because you've got an avatar or something sitting up there that needs to be preserved.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm so inherently bad and broken and not enough. And now they're pointing it out. Shit, what if they're right? I'm not worthy of being loved. But on the other hand, there is again way in which life is looking at its beautiful creation, and there is nothing wrong in any of it. In the way things are expressed, in the way things appear, there is nothing wrong. Nisargadatta would say there is nothing wrong anymore. And there is also a way in which that construct, that set of algorithms that is designed to always improve, fix, alter, modify, and correct, called mind. Everything is wrong. This carpet is wrong. These people are wrong. They're sitting wrong way. They're thinking wrong way. They're speaking in the wrong way. The tone of the voice, the accent, everything is wrong. So there is this perspective of life, totally discovering everything as it comes, with no judgment whatsoever. And there is the mind, which is always critical. And if the mind is being believed, then the criticism is real. When the mind is believed, then yes, this world is horrible. Everything is wrong with everything. And there's this beautiful quote of Nisargadatta's description of the freedom or ultimate reality in which there is nothing wrong anymore. Even if the body is not perfect according to the social standards, or the behavior is undesirable, or perhaps the bank account is not fat enough, those concepts are just laughable. Just appearances in the dream. And ultimately, what's wrong even with the wrong concepts?
Well, most of it's anxiety based, because if I don't do this, it's the imagination of, and when I've seen that come up, if I've been lucky enough there's been that Zen slap from the space or whatever you want to call it. And it's like, oh, so I've got all this story making going on. And it's like, well, that's all in my head.
Yeah.
It's not out there yet. Is it even going to be out there? You know, like I'm it's generating here. So it's sort of like taking the hands off the wheel, like letting go, and just, you know, and all of a sudden, you know,
see how it does.
Yeah. I just stop, and then you know, and then something goes on to this, and then you might reflect later and go, well, hang on a sec, that whole big story. I mean, all that stuff is still probabilities or whatever, but you don't have all that loading on top of it, you know. And of course that happens like everything else. It's all that consciousness doing it to itself. Yeah, so it's not like there's any doership involved with it. There's just a recognition or a registration that happens or doesn't happen, and of course no one gets a say in that either. So, but obviously, as it would be the case with everyone here, I imagine there's a resonance.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the only thing that sort of. It wasn't all the talking and all the.
No.
You know, if I didn't have that cellular resonance with what Bob was saying, yeah, there's no way I would have stuck with it. No. So that's the point of it. Not this veneer of us showing up, or not that that's, I'm trying to put it down or anything, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
This is that's just on the surface.
Yeah, is that invitation coming from life to life? In a way, it kind of, you know, like the whole movement of energy, the pulsation and throbbing and vibration, like, you know, one of Bob's books, One Essence, expressing, experiencing, appearing as everything, in a way of just vibrating into different waves, different thoughts, different feelings, different vibrations. So that vibration is the invitation to just don't try to grasp it. Don't try to think of pointers. Don't try to wreck the pointers. Don't try to argue with pointers. Just stay open. Because that one is to speak, like Bob would say, is heart to heart rather than mind to mind, where I have a concept what you mean, and I agree with your concept of what you mean, or I don't agree with concept of what you mean.
You're just comparing notes. And it's not the way to do it.
The resonation, there is no space for it. It's the dissonance there instead of resonance. While just that openness, being in the discoverer mode, being in the mode of that curious open field of let's see what the consciousness is bringing up into right now. Beautiful. That game of life dancing with itself, the divine sport, the lila, or the
and they're just that innate wakeful alertness that's there. You know, I think that's really it. That's all it is tasting that. It's already alert. It's already awake. And yeah, so it's a less than a. You know, I don't know how it happens, but obviously, you know, and it's sort of just it's full, you know, and it doesn't need or want anything, and it only gets disturbed by your own imagination.
That's it.
That's it.
Only get disturbed. The only problem you can ever have is in your own imagination. While that which is seeing it, embracing it, allowing it, not arguing with it, that space in which the imagination, the problem arises, is absolutely undisturbed by any of it. And it's really trying to grasp it or think yourself into it is completely futile. Exactly. It's more of the relaxing and recognizing that space of resonation is already present, already lucid here. And the problems that arise, the suffering that arises, the concepts that arise, wouldn't even arise if not for that open field of aliveness, just being.
Yeah.
Already already. So it is the recognition of what's already there, not something that I will achieve or get to if I watch enough YouTube, or if I read enough book, or if I sit enough long hours in a meditation. No, all those concepts of achieving it or understanding it or getting it later is really rehearsing the idea that this is not right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that, that's exactly what the ignorance is. Just completely overlooking the fact that if not for that awake alertness, aliveness, that open field, none of those ideas could even arise.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and then I guess if you were to take it one step further and see that, so when seeming problems arise, so we use the term imagination, seeing that that's from the same source. It's not.
Absolutely.
And so then the problem's dissipated, isn't it? Because you've recognised that that's coming from the same. It's all the same thing. And then and in that recognition, why would you bother bashing with your own imagination? You just wouldn't do it. So yeah, that's the ignorance, that you don't see that that's what it is. You think, oh, this is me, or
I'm the doer.
Yeah.
We got, and thank you guys for a couple of contributions from the online. Jay says, good morning all and one. And Tanya says, what about beliefs that have been looked at lots and lots of times, but you can't see it just as a story and not true? How can you see through such a sticky belief? And yeah, so sticky belief. What example of a sticky belief? I'm the body, for example. People might
I'm not
say,
good enough.
That's a good one. Yeah. How do you see through it? You see how the belief arises in the consciousness that is already neutral. It's neither good nor bad. The knowing of the thought, I'm not good enough, is equal to knowing of the thought, I am good enough. The knowing is absolutely beyond the fruit of the tree of a good of evil, or the judgment. Recognizing that this persistent thought or persistent belief arising is only there because you are. Before the Abraham was, I am. Before the belief I'm this or that or the other, there is the I am. So any sticky belief, or like some beliefs are just. Carl, did you want to answer that? Okay. Yeah, no, it's okay.
Finish it, maybe. This idea about belief systems and sticky beliefs. That's if you just look at what's going on, there is this chatter up here, and or you don't actually know it's up here.
Yeah.
You actually own it. There's chattering going on, but there's the trees are moving in the wind, and all of these other things, and really, I know nothing about this. I can't say anything about it. Everything I say is a conditioned response. I'm told that's a lie when I was this high. Yeah?
Yes.
So I point that up to it and say that's a lie. But what is it? I don't know what it really is. And that applies to everything.
Absolutely.
So it applies to all the stuff that goes on in the mind, all the stuff that you say comes up in the mind. It's not to be listened to, really. I mean, you can hear it, you can notice it, and you can just say, well, it's like the wind. It comes and it goes.
Coming through.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Anita. Yeah.
That's a great point. I just want to just mention the fact that mind chatter will always be there. I came from a long line, a very, not long line, but a traditional Indian yoga lineage. And the head of that lineage had been meditating for 60 years. He was acknowledged within India as an accomplished yogi. One person I know asked him, does your brain chatter ever stop? He says, how long? He says, for about 8 seconds. It stops. And then something comes up in the mind, but he knows he's not the mind.
Yes.
But the brain chatter never stops. The referencing, and it's a survival thing within this living, whatever this is. So it's always there. If you think that you're going to become silent and still and everybody's going, it's not going to happen.
Well, it's being thought free as opposed to be thoughtless.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like, I think what Cole was saying, it's like an open window and the breeze goes through. So the breeze being the thoughts, you're able to sort of just recognize, it's sort of just an open curiosity of, it's this, but there's no ownership of it. Yeah.
And you can actually even say, if you got your eyes open, that there are sights and there are things, and we add meaning to everything, just like we add meaning to what goes on up here, and it doesn't actually mean anything. What your eyes are seeing, it's only it's only the conditioning that comes up with anything. So actually, all there is this meaningless whatever, and the what was the expression you used? The dream body or
Dream character.
The dream character. The dream character will go on looking at that stuff and acting in it according to its programming until it joins the rest of the molecules in the universe.
Yeah. Yeah, I deliberately didn't use the term witnessing, because who would be the witness? But yeah, it's that sort of thing. You're sort of just watching it all play out, including the involvement of this body-mind apparatus. But you're kind of just watching it all play out, It's not, subtle but powerful shift.
And that stuff that, I'll just grab it for a second,
Sure.
that you said of Bob, being thought free. He would very, very often highlight it, thought free. Let the thought be free to come and to go as it pleases. You don't really want to have a brain damage or Alzheimer's. It is actually quite sweet that this faculty works as it has been designed to work.
Yeah.
It's just, is it personal? Even if it says I, this is just a symbol, it's a symbolic language. It uses mental representation, it uses words. But is it believed? Does it mean that there is really anybody, any little creature there that lives there and pulls the strings and thinks that thought? Nobody knows how to think a thought. Nobody knows what's the next thought gonna be. No. You don't know what's the next thought. So we have a couple of things here also. Tanya says, thank you, Kat, Cole, and everyone speaking on beliefs, thoughts. The pointer that consciousness is neutral and is not believing the thoughts that appear was very helpful. And Cole's not actually knowing what things are. Yes, thank you, Tanya, and thank you for the question. And we also have Chandika asking, would be interesting to hear your views on breath work. Oh, well, Chandika, what does it matter? Let's say we have 10 people here or 15 people here. Everyone may have different opinion or different concept about breath work. Thankfully, we don't really go there. We don't go into personal opinions and views of things. Trust your own gut. If life is moving you to explore the idea of breath work, just give credit where credit is due. Follow that intention from life. If life is moving you to play a guitar, life is moving you. So there is no, again, necessity, and there is no designed path that one size fits all. Everything is an expression of that same one life essence. And it may be of interest if life moves you. Why not? And then we have another one here, which Michael is answering to Deborah, but I didn't see Deborah's question. So, she says, hello everyone. And Michael says, looking forward to being there next week. And much love. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you, Michael, too. And yeah, who else? Any insights, contributions? Anything that comes up? Yes?
I just slightly add to, I think, what I said. You know, it's this business of thought. Somebody was in this room once and they said, how do you know they're your thoughts? When I was talking, they said, how do you know they're your thoughts? And and I sort of sat there and I thought, oh God, I don't. And how do I know that this is my sight? Everything that I see is mine. Everything I hear is mine. It's this tendency for this to take ownership of everything.
Yeah.
And act within that. And as Kat said, it's part of our survival mechanism. It's just part of sight, hearing, and the chatter of the mind. They're all part of the survival mechanism. And I know that's part of the story, but really, what can you say about anything? Thoughts included.
Come on, Ross.
Can't actually say anything that at the moment. It's nice to just rest in the stillness.
Yeah, if people aren't saying much, I would say that's a good thing because it's points hit home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, that is, I remember a couple of meetings where people went just all quiet and they all knew the message. And Bob says, you know, this is an invitation for the happy exploration and the celebration of that which is always here. And it is a natural state which is a joyous, it's Sat Chit Ananda. So you guys don't want to chat about it? Go home. I'll watch a movie. So it is, on one hand, it's beautiful, and it is. I've heard it a couple of times on Zoom. You know, when the introduction ended, no one wanted to have anything to say. Occasionally, someone would say to Mike, you know, you just wiped off everything. There's no questions. There's nothing to say, and you should take it as a compliment. I say thank you very much. Though I'm not taking any credit for whatever has been said or whatever has been heard, because nothing ever happens. It's just a dance. But in that dance, the invitation is to really have the group investigation of that which is effortlessly, joyously here. So if there is anything that come up for anyone to highlight that lightness, that joy of being, that's, you know, that's just brings the flavor of existence back in front. Or if there is the opposite, anything that objects to it, anything that stands in a way to it, anything like Tanya was asking, New Zealand Tanya, about, you know, the persistent thoughts. Because as Ben was also saying, you know, nothing can trouble you. That's Nisargadatta's quotes, except in your own imagination. So yes, whatever can trouble you, it is part of the imagination, but we can bring it up. We can look at it, we can dismantle it together, we can bring it up and just bring that light of investigation and just pull it apart together. What are they? Those things that obscure, what are those concepts? I get emails also, I have individual calls when people would tell me, you know, my work situation, there is a bully and I have to go there and it's happening every day. And how am I going to just not give into it? How am I not gonna feel flared up, all the sort of survival defense mechanisms? Well, that's not on the menu. If the situation is like there is an immediate threat in a situation, and of course that nervous system will recognize bullying as such, even though of course there is probably marginal danger of a physical death because of that. But the nervous system evolved with its sensitivities to first of all object to any life threat, and then next of all object to any discomfort. So of course there will be an incredible discomfort in the body in a situation when there is someone who obviously is not looking with their heart, because then you just see the miracle of this moment, just the wonderful, blissful presence of the absolute. But looking with the mind and saying, oh, your socks are wrong, or your attitude is wrong, or your face is wrong, and everything's wrong, then naturally the response will be, and that's the loving response, will be contraction, resistance, pain, loving response. Because deep in my heart, I know that bullying is just not what the absolute deserves. It's just not. So yes, celebrating the fact that there is a pain in response to mistreatment is absolutely healthy. This is the healthy response. And the space in which the healthy response to the threatening situation is presented, the space can celebrate the healthy response. In a way, as I did mention before, there is a subtle sweetness in sadness. There is subtle sweetness in disappointment, because that disappointment is the way love says, I wish a beautiful, loving and kind response. That's what I'm for. I'm against the bullying. I'm against the criticism, diminishing. I'm for all that loving kindness. How beautiful. If you can't see that there is the underlying energy of that gentleness, that loving care, well, look again. It is there. It is there. And that, connecting with that part, straight away takes the tension out of the nervous system, and then it gets out a little bit, loosens up the victim story. And now, in that neutral space, there may be a healthy response coming up. And whatever it is, there may be a different response coming up.
Just going back, Kat, to that reminder when you started off, Satchitananda, that's on the menu now.
Yeah.
It's always on the menu. And just drawing back from the appearance, it's obvious. It's being, consciousness, and bliss. It's just here.
Where else could it be?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I've just responded by saying, where else could it be?
Except
only here.
Well, that's,
only here.
It's obvious.
It's so beautiful. And accessible every here. The ever present here. Always accessible.
And it seems to be forgotten rather than lost. It's just forgotten. But there it is. Here it is.
Actually, I think sometimes stimulation that overrides the mind that comes from the body, such as when you're sick, or even, that we can't, often stated that people have had great spiritual awakenings in the middle of torture. What does that say? It says something profound. Or when you get very unwell and the body's sending signals which are really significantly, trying to gain the attention all the time. But still, that all happens within the now, which isn't affected by any of that. And the fact that people can wake up in torture chambers, like, I don't know how many people do, but there is...
people wake up.
well, people are having deeply spiritually awakening experiences when they realise they aren't the body that's being tortured. So isn't that amazing? Isn't that is just so optimistic. It's so beautiful. But yeah, the stimulation that comes from the body and then the mind chatter that comes because the body's going through something, that can be overwhelming. But the fact is there's something that's watching all of that, not affected by that. Isn't that beautiful? How lucky we are.
Yeah, Bob had actually, he had that beautiful advice for people who were, and actually few people I heard took the advice in these rooms over the last decade. And he would say, if there is a psychological suffering, just amplify it. Just go right into it. Just put it out, amplify it. What's the worst that can happen? If the pain is unbearable, this brilliant mechanism will just switch off. Like in the torture, the biggest challenge always for any tortures was that people would go unconscious. How to keep them conscious? Because any psychological suffering, the worst that can do is just make a pause. It will just switch off. So people who had panic attacks, who had incredibly strong anxiety disorder, they would actually, and I remember particularly one lady coming here and moving and talking on the meeting, which was probably recorded somewhere in there. She said, "Is the mind bluffing? You just really challenge it and call it on its bluff. Okay, I'm happy to die out of fear. I'm happy to die in the anxiety. Render me unconscious right now. Just," and it never happened. Never. And I heard few other people also confirming, is the mind bluffing, is leading that red light, danger, 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 but really there is nothing there. So because it is all imagined, it's not gonna deliver.
Yes, the fear feeding off itself. So I was one of these people that suffered from severe anxiety and panic disorder. As an example, halfway on a flight to Australia from New Zealand, they were going to turn the plane round. I was in such a bad way. But I'm speaking for first-hand experience on the topic. So it's very true that in the end it's all just sensation and a horrible feeling. And I mean, I've been on a shipload of planes since, and I still can't sleep. I've never been able to sleep on planes, but there's not even an iota, I don't think. If I was to compare, it's like a different person. But it's exactly that, having the courage to just face it and see it and say, well, what's the worst that can happen here? Because there's a perceived belief that if X, Y, Z will happen if I don't get out of here or whatever, and it literally is just having the courage to look at that and see that, and yeah, I guess, like courage, earnestness, compassion, these sort of things, they can't be contrived either. So it's always coming from that intelligence. There's plenty of things you can pretend to be, but you can't pretend to be courageous if it's true courage. You can't pretend to be compassionate if it's true compassion, and so forth. So, and I think, with the earnest thing, like it's the earnestness, Nisargadatta used to say that quite a lot. It's the earnestness more than the path that matters. If you really, and that earnestness comes from a deeper, it's beyond you, because essentially it's like a moth to a flame. You're committing self-suicide. So there's nothing in it for for an entity to want to know the ultimate truth, so to speak. Yeah.
So I have a question about that.
Sure.
Some great beings say it really matters to be earnest about the path, and then others say, well, no, there's no doer, nothing you can do. So So how do you reconcile those two?
Right.
Those two.
Well, I
matters?
feel they're saying the same thing,
Yes. Beautiful.
actually, because it's just in my opinion, because it's the earnestness
Discovered.
that's driving you to be here, to understand what's being said, is it not? And whether there's a doer there or not, whether you have it doesn't really make a difference, because both are true, in my opinion.
Well, I'm so damn earnest that
Right.
I'm not driving this because.
Well, there you go. So that's right.
It's full on, hours and hours, So in my
Right.
personal case, but it's just that the teachers say different things.
It sounds like
It can drive you up the wall when you listen to all the different myriads of, and a lot of them are highly contradictory. But it comes down.
I don't mind that. Because I can
Yeah.
find my way.
Look for
I
the
can
sameness.
I can work my way through those differences. But this is a bit of a sticking point.
So what is it, the sticky point? Because there's the no doer, and therefore that doesn't matter with one's earnest or not. Was that your point?
Well, it matters because the people who say different things in that regard, I
Right.
respect.
Right.
I value their opinion or their view. Right. So given that I'm fairly earnest, well, I'm very earnest at the moment. So that's a lot of time consumption. So I'm interested in what so in relation to,
Do you have choice about it?
Well, I don't, it doesn't feel like I have choice
There you go.
right at the moment.
That's the question down the drain. Nothing you can do anyway.
Yeah. So it's just more the mind just doing its dance, right?
Yeah. I got a couple of contributions. Oh, you give it. From our audience. So we have Chandika says, "Thanks for the answer, Kat. I remember Bob refusing to give a practice when someone asked for a practice, laughing out loud. The problem with paying too much attention to thought is it accelerates thoughts even more, and you can get in the head even more. Presence is beyond the head." Beautiful. Thank you, Chandika. And we have Ram. Bob once said, "You lot will go to a cafe and yap on about this stuff for hours. Then you come here and sit there like a stunned mullets." It used to piss him off, laughing out loud. Yeah, that's just such a brilliant grasp of Bob's language and essence. Thank you for that. And we have Bradley says, "The belief I am unworthy is no different from the belief I am lovable or I am late for lunch." Yeah. They are all thoughts appearing in word from in the department of middle management called the mind. Don't try to eliminate middle management. It will only create more bureaucratic distraction. Just understand the nature of thought as birds in the sky of your mind. That is so beautifully put. Thank you, Bradley. That's, lovely. Dino, you.
And that, I guess, that middle management is what's claiming to see. Oh, I'm seeing. Oh, I'm having this thought. I'm raising my arm. This is all middle management. And well, if I can raise my arm, then I can have a choice. I can do this. I can do that. I can think in this way. I can do breath work and have like really good experiences, or I can be extremely earnest. Or if I realize I'm not the doer, this is all middle management talking. These are all just thoughts. I'm just playing out the idea of these thoughts just appearing. Where are they appearing? To whom are they appearing for? And then in that, you can see that this middle management is an absolute hoax, in the sense that there's no one running the show and there's no entity that it's referring to. So there are just thoughts, and in those thoughts they claim to be a me or a my, but there is no one who's seeing as such. There is no one who's creating these thoughts. There is no middle manager. And there never has been and never will be. And there's not one here, there, or anywhere. Because that's the show. That's part of the great trick, the great, I could use some other words. But it's an incredible show. It really is, and the only show in town. And you can't,
the greatest show on earth.
and there's no escaping the show, and there's no getting the show. There's no leaving the show. There's no in or out or up or down or superior or inferior. It is the show, and the patterns and the expressions of it are just amazingly unfathomable, unknowable, unfigureoutable. And you can see patterns, and you can sort of, and that's what they are. They're just patterns, and the energy, and they're, the most amazing thing about this show is the emptiness, like the dream-like nature of it. And once it's seen as a dream, anything and everything is as it always has been anyway. But it's the whimsical nature of it that's like, wow. Horror, like what you're saying before, like the sticky things and bad things and torturous things, and everything's included in this show. There's no way out of the show. There's nothing excluded from it. There's no way out of it. So everything is included, and the show itself is the main thing. It's not the details of the show as such. It's the fact that there's a friggin' show, and this is it. That's the most amazing part of it all. And what is that show? That show is now.
It has a title.
Tell us the title.
That's the importance of being earnest.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is, to me, so the implications of all of that is the risk of letting things unfold without you controlling anything. Try that. Because it unfolds anyway, ever unfolding. And you can see you don't have any...
The illusion of control.
Yes, that's right.
That's all you've ever had, right?
Yeah, and the freedom of that, and the loss of tension around all of that. It's a great invitation, that one. Yeah. You see things just present. Bloody hell, it's profound. Yeah. Well, not that I can't say that I have a lot of that experiencing like that. I can't say it's always like that, but it's a lot of it is now able to be like that.
There is no such thing as always. One of the most loved and celebrated quote of Nisargadatta is, wisdom is nothing and love is everything. And they not permanent. They floating and dancing and coming up. I am nothing, this is wisdom. I am everything, this is love. And I'm neither, and I'm both, and up and down it goes. Because without the day, there would be no night. Without the summer, there would be no winter. So yes, the dream goes and attention follows the thought. And the thought unfolds itself as the self-preservation, as the dream character following its goals and desires and ambitions and whatever. And then attention withdraws and zooms out, and wow, what an incredible play. And then it goes in again, and oh, yum, gosh. Yeah, constant throbbing, pulsating,
ever moving,
throbbing, yes. Like life, like heartbeat, like breath in, breath out, like everything, nothing. The love, the wisdom.
This is the venue of change.
Yes,
constant change.
This is the impermanence. Yeah. Everything beautiful. That is expressed is expressed dualistically. Yeah, there is no expression. So that's why we say it is Maya, it is illusion, it's a dream-like. It never happened. Like the dream at night. There's so much going on when you're dreaming. And then poof, all gone. And yet, is it real? Did it happen? Did it not happen? It appears to be. The whole duality is an appearance only. But what a dream it is.
What fun.
What fun.
Sometimes.
Jamie, we couldn't hear you. We didn't hear you, and Jacinta, come on, give us some. Yeah.
Cat sitting.
Is the camera pointed at me?
Yeah.
You're on, mate.
Yes.
You
Welcome
like
to
it?
my dream.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you know, when we dream at night, our so-called nighttime dreams, then at the moment the dream's taking place to us, the dream is 100% believed in. It's real. There's no questioning of the dream, is it? This is the reality. It's only upon waking that we sort of question, go, how did I get from there to there? And all of a sudden my girlfriend was my mother, and how did, you know, none of it makes sense, you know. It's, we can, from the so-called waking state, we can see it as just a manifestation of the mind. And this waking state's exactly the same. If it's investigated from the point of awareness, you can see that nothing in this manifestation makes sense just as the dream world. Like, if you actually look under the hood of what we call reality, everything's fucking backwards. You know, like nothing makes sense, you know. Healthcare should be sick care. You know, education is indoctrination. You know, like nothing.
That's because you're conspiracy theorists.
But nothing. But it's true when it's investigated and you look under the hood. Nothing in this appearance has any reality to it. It's just the same as a dreaming state. But because it seems to continue on in so-called time, in longer in duration, then it's taken, well, this is the reality, and that's the dream world. No, this is a dream too. It's an appearance. And if it's investigated, and it's only our participation in it that actually asserts any reality to it, because there is no reality to the nama rupa. It's name and form, like you were saying, Cole. It's our conditioning, it's our belief that we call, oh, that's coal and that's a mirror, and, you know, we give everything names and forms, and then we apply meaning and purpose to all those names and forms. But it's upon seeing it as similar to the dream state, then you're no longer as invested or interested in it. And it requires, the appearance in a way requires our energy to sustain it. And the energy is the energy of belief through our anxieties and fears. Oh my God, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen next in this appearance? That kind of gives it the reality that it seems to have. And from the more, let's say, awakened state, becomes more sort of ephemeral and not actually, and it's you can see the dreamlike nature of it, that nothing, and there is no actual meaning or purpose to any of it, and there's a freedom in that, and it's just the dream just is an amusement. It's a kind of an amusement park that continues to appear. But yeah, that's all I wanted to mention, just because you spoke of the dream world, that this is a dream too. It's an appearance. Who's it appearing to? It's appearing to me. Who am I? You know, and that's all it really boils down to. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know that this body is an appearance. The mind, what do you call it? The middleman. I like that.
Middle
That's
management.
good. Middle management. The middle management, or, you know, the press secretary of intelligence, which arises and interprets. That's an appearance as well. Yeah.
Yeah, just something you said, Jamie, about everything being back to front, such as healthcare and
Yeah.
if we're looking through there's seeing going on, and apparently it's the optics of the eye and the law of optics. So we're actually seeing in a field of blackness. So you know how the way light works with positive and negative.
Yeah.
And we see upside down. and the brain turns it around. So the more you look into this stuff, you can see how everything's back the front.
Well,
Upside
what
down.
Upside down?
what could those optic nerves see without that life energy?
Yeah.
You know,
Life.
in a sense, you can take that eyeball out, you know, and remove it from the life energy. It has no ability to see. That's I don't know, the way I see it. You can talk about the brain, the way the brain works, and that, but that's all in the appearance as well. It's just appearance.
What sees in the dream?
Yeah, exactly.
You have visions in a dream.
Yeah.
Give him the mic.
Oh, it's just.
No, we want to hear you.
And also, like, I don't know when I go to sleep and when I'm dreaming and when I'm not. Like, there's no moment when I'm asleep. There's no moment. Like, I might close my eyes and, okay, am I dreaming or not dreaming? Like, and when do I wake up? Like, and what, suddenly the eyes open? Like, is that awake? Or was it,
It's like
before?
Often
I'll give him this one for that.
often you'll be just resting on the couch,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden there'll be a bang at the door. Someone knocks on the door, and it wakes you up, and you go, "Shit, I didn't even know I was asleep."
Yeah.
Not until something sort of alerts you out of that state, you think you're just
The
sitting
contrast. You need
there.
a
But
contrast.
there is no distinction. It's
Yeah.
a sort of a spectrum that at any time you could be in that sort of.
But there's no, like, I can't find a moment when
No.
I go to sleep or when I wake up. It's a different, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But where's that moment? Like, am I awake? Am I asleep? Are we always awake or are we always asleep? You know, it's like.
Yeah. Well, that consciousness is unchanging in all those states. They're just states that the sort of mind sort of goes through and phases in and out of, you know. But
and what's always there?
yeah, in all states, yeah. That's why you can feel like you're still awake, but your mind is actually shut down until something pulls you out of it. But from a consciousness point of view, I was just sitting here. It's like, oh, apparently the mind was shut down, but the awareness never actually shuts down. It's like deep sleep, you know. We have no recollection of that because there's no apparatus operating that can record the memories or have any sense of time or space. But if someone asks you, how did you sleep? You go, oh, I slept well. You know, and there's that awareness is even there. That's, you know, what can pull you out of that deep sleep state. You know, all of a sudden a rock comes through your window. The awareness, something is noticing that change. That click back in, but yeah, there's a great relief when it's seen the appearance has no solidity or reality to it. It is just an appearance, and the relief is that I'm not doing the appearance, so therefore I'm not doing this. I'm not doing the thoughts. They're all just a happening. So the investment in it diminishes, and it just becomes. Did someone say an amusement park? Was it you that said that? I don't know.
Not this time, but yes,
Yeah.
it's been said.
You watch the plot change, and it's just an amusement in that amusement and it's amusement for the character, because you want to say something? Because the character operates in time and space, but us, that reality isn't in time or space. It's timeless, spaceless. What's the other word? Like, let's say, Eternal. Like what is the definition of the word eternal? Eternal is that which has no beginning and has no end. So can anybody find a beginning to this moment? Can we find an end to this moment? When did this moment end? Welcome to eternity. You know, and it's
eternity.
It's as simple as that. Eternity is this. This is it. And in that eternity is the appearance of time and space, of a character that continues to age and grey, and stories change. But can you look back? So I presume everybody is awake to what we are. We all understand that presence awareness. Now, you could say the understanding has been here for, say, I don't know, let's say 10 years. If I go back 10 years and I recall a memory now of, say, an awakening experience, I look back, there was no one awake there. The awakeness is only ever present. There wasn't a character 10 years ago that woke up. That's just a memory. That there's no awakeness. The awakeness can only be in this eternal present moment with no beginning and no end, that is eternally present. I wasn't awake in the past. I won't be awake in the future, because they're all just concepts. They're just made up stuff that we can bring in to this eternal, no beginning, no end presence, awareness, here, now, this is it.
Jamie, do you think there is, though, a state for most of us where we weren't really grasping understanding the awareness that there's only now? And in fact, we're very much caught up in the personhood. Mm-hmm. And at some stage, an experience occurred which woke you up very clearly to see that you're not that. Do you agree
in the
to
story,
that?
yeah. It's a story. It's a story. It's not the reality. So in the story of this character, 100%. I could rattle off stories of that for hours. But there was no awake Jamie there. There's no Jamie that woke up. I can recall this experience, but the awakeness is only a present. There's a story of Jamie in time that woke up, that got married, that did this, and imagines itself in the future. Yes. But the awakeness is only present. It's only this. There is...
But the thing is, though, many people that you will talk to in the community have no concept of what you've just said. They have no grasp of that, and they think it's bullshit.
Right? But that's fine. Yes. But that's the character, because the character, the self-center, can't get it. It's not available for the character. So of course it's going to see it as bullshit, or it's going to seek it, or it's going to try and understand it. And the character moves through time and space. So there's a story there. In this is what it is. What story can you attach to it?
Business.
Even that's made up, you know? Yeah, well, we like to use concepts to attach to it.
It's within consciousness. It's all there.
It's in eternity, in this present moment.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. So, I don't know if it's been touched on in this meeting or not, but yeah, when the so-called dream character wakes up, it is just the dream character that's waking up.
Well, it's not even the dream. It's the awakeness waking up to the dream character.
Okay, that's probably
I would even say it.
better.
Let me just put a third one, because whoever is going to resonate with any description, all of them are just a description. None is the described. For me, no character wakes up, and no awakeness wakes up. Awakeness is already awake. A dream character is just a costume. So what actually happens in so-called experience, the illusion of separate self fades away, drops away. So it's more or less like stepping down from a stage, but who steps down? There's no one there. Wakefulness is there before the event, wakefulness is there during the event, and is there after event, because wakefulness is always present, ever present in the eternity of now. The illusion of imagined self, believing itself to have the control and driving the show, illusion of being someone, some person, that one is not sustainable. That one, before the event, let's say 10 years ago, wakefulness was wearing a costume of me, Katarina, the self, the separate self, that wants to and longs to waking up. And then during the event, that costume, that illusion of being Katarina was seen through. And that illusion of being separate self couldn't survive the event. And after the so-called event, the wakefulness is untouched, hasn't been ever, but that one illusion is gone. So there is illusion of self is gone, therefore illusion of control is gone, illusion of driving the show is gone, illusion of self-center is gone. But wakefulness hasn't been touched all the way through. Nothing ever happened for the wakefulness. It's just one dream.
You can use
What's about before and after?
but you can use the analogy of
Technically.
uniting.
Before and after.
Technically, it is just the same way, like there was before and after believing in Santa Claus, before and after believing in flat earth.
Prior to your awakening, you had no concept of that. That awakening to the
Prior to the so-called
Yes,
dissolution
event.
of
Yes.
the self, there was millions of concepts
Yes,
of what awakening
and
is,
that was the
all
lived
wrong.
experience.
All wrong. I had a concept of awakening being a great sense of bliss, being a great sense of completeness. There was a concept, there was an illusion of self, and part of the construction of that illusion of self was the illusion of what awakening is and how it is gonna be when it finally happens to that dream character in the future. All of that, absolute bogus, none of that could ever be true. And the awakening was really stepping out, relaxing out of that bullshit, of that incredibly elaborated, colorful bullshit story of me gaining or achieving the great enlightenment in a great future.
How many
That
years
couldn't
in your
happen.
life did you live in that state?
Well, that one was evolving and changing also. From one Zen Sangha to another Zen Sangha, the illusion of self gaining something or becoming someone was slightly different, was changing. Okay. So it is going to be then, later on, there was a belief that, there is no self. Now, yes, I hear it. I believe it. I believe there is no self. And I understand it intellectually. And I agree with that. There is still a self that believes it and agrees and all that shit. And that dream was sustained by the energy of belief. But the wakefulness underneath was never touched. Had the greatest.
When it's seen.
It wasn't.
Until it's seen.
If you use the example, go back to the dream state, right?
Mm.
Like we've all had uncomfortable dreams, right? Dreams where everything's gone pear-shaped. For the dream character, the nighttime dream character, right? Which is another egoic self-center that believes I'm the center of this dream and there's all these characters. Everything's gone pear-shaped. And then all of a sudden you pull yourself out of the dream. And have you ever felt that sense of relief when there's the first waking up, it's like, oh shit, none of that happened. It's a similar, very, very similar.
But there is a point
sensation.
of sleeping and waking.
Yeah, but if
Only
you
now.
change, if you change
now.
as that awareness,
Yes, yeah.
and that there's a sense, especially
In a memory.
when we first come out of the dream state, if you're attentive and notice, you know that there's a space there before this dream character comes in and asserts itself. Have you ever sort of, you wake up and you go, I don't know my name, I don't know who I am. There's just awareness. There's no identification. Then the mind rushes in and goes, oh, that's right, it's me, and I've got to be at work at 5 now. But there's that space.
A whole life to catch up on.
So that hasn't changed from the scary dream where you lose all your money and it's just a dream. You wake up, oh my God, it wasn't true. And then the new dream comes in, which is this dream, and asserts itself, yeah, but I've got to be at work in 5 minutes. But there's something in that hasn't changed.
Yes, yeah, I understand that. You know, I have had the experience. I have had the experience, and you know, I just say this as an example of pure unbounded awareness, not affected. Didn't even know if the body slept or not. Went on for days and days.
Yeah.
So there was a pure unbounded awareness. It was an experience, and eventually the mind came back. So I absolutely have profound experience of pure unbound awareness with the sensations from the body so minor it didn't affect.
So what
Maybe
are you trying to
experience
say?
had
So
you.
what I'm
That
saying,
isn't there now?
well, no, the mind has changed now. That is there. Of course, that was an awakening
So
experience.
experience had you, really.
Yeah, that was an
experience had mind. Experience is
Yeah,
there
but
all the
it's a
time.
falling away of all that for that to
Correct.
right. So it wasn't really an experience then. It was the falling away of
It's a falling away,
experiences
and that
the
changed
veil.
to
everything.
reveal
Right?
Yes.
That
what's
changed
already
everything.
there.
So,
Yeah.
so the thing is, there was a before and an after.
In the appearances.
Yes, in the appearances.
Yeah,
of course, when there is an
'Cause that's all
awakening, you
time.
see, it's
But
always
that's all
there.
time bound.
And
so,
it's only now. I
Yeah.
understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that so much.
Yeah.
But people who have not had experiences like that directly
right.
believe that there's something to achieve. You know what I mean? They get confused. Nothing is rejected. None of those experiences are rejected. They're all part of it.
Mm.
So it's not that I know people whose minds dropped and never came back, and they operate very well. They run businesses and all sorts of stuff. So there are different qualities and levels of experiencing complete unbounded awareness, but it comes and goes because this is the platform of change. It comes and goes. It's an
Dream.
experience
Yeah.
that awakens you. Oh, fuck, I'm not that.
Again, it's all the scenery, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
All
So
the
But
comes and
it's all the
goes
scenery
is
that
Maya.
comes and goes, and
It's all
the
Maya.
seer doesn't come and go.
no, that's right. But you
Or
don't
being-
know that until you've had the direct experience.
But
Yeah,
the
well-
one who knows it or doesn't know is part of Maya.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Right,
But there is a
exactly.
direct experience of having some kind of awakening where the mind is dropped enough for you to see, I'm not the mind. I've always been here, and it's timeless. It's spaciousness.
It happens
there's
every
kind of
morning, like
play-
Jamie was saying.
Yeah, and,
every morning.
and there's a play on the screen of life going on. But until you have an awakening like that, you can't know that.
But every morning before the mind downloads
Yes.
all the shit of what day of the week it is and how long before I get to work, that unbounded, free, unadulterated, pure wakefulness without a veil of a story is there.
Yes, but nobody identifies that. Unless
Yes,
they
the
continue
one
to
who wants to identify that is again the dream character.
Why does it matter about
Yeah.
what these other people?
No,
are doing?
because there are many people here who are seekers.
Right.
There are many people. So I'm just trying to explain that there are many different levels and direct experiencing, which changes everything. But it happens differently for different people. It stays for longer periods than different people.
Yes.
You know,
they
so
all
that's all I'm
experience
stating, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
stating
Yeah, yeah.
that. It's the fact that there is a before and an after of that direct awareness
In
that,
time,
I am
In
not
time,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, in time.
which is the
Yeah,
brain,
in time, yes.
Yes, Bob
Yeah.
would say there is the words that Bob would use. Everything is valid in the appearance.
Yes.
You believe in angels, they're real. You believe in levels of consciousness, they're real. You believe in Jehovah, he's real. You believe in before, after, that's real. The thing is that all that is changing is Maya, and that which never changes is the reality. Yeah, you from the dream perspective, dream character perspective, yes, experiences are changing. I had more experiences than you, or I had better experiences than you. There are people who didn't have experiences, therefore they can't have comparison. All that stuff is valid in the appearance, absolutely. What we're pointing out is beyond and before and completely transcending the appearance. And that is never not here. Never ever not here.
So many people not awake to that.
Yes, but you know what? Before I sat on my individual meeting with Bob, I did not have any of those experiences, and thank God for that. I remember Julia was speaking with Bob also, that she never had those type of experiences. Bob said, good on you. So you don't have all that nonsense story. How do I get back to it?
Yeah, that's
You are free from that. So if anyone who is listening or seeking or whatever is looking for particular pleasurable experience, don't go to drugs, go to a chocolate cake, go to sex. But really, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and just and all this, everything that seems to happen, the sight, the hearing, the ideas, the thoughts, everything is just part of it. So actually, you can say nothing about it. It's an amazing show, but you can say nothing about it.
Yeah, you can't tell anyone either.
No.
No one there. Even if it appears as there is so many people.
Let's shut this show down.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no way in, no way out.
Give us support.
Well, I guess if this amazing show, if the character is Mickey Mouse, and the Mickey Mouse is going to wake up from this show, it's impossible. How can Mickey Mouse? How can a dream character wake up from the dream like that it's in?
And remain the Mickey Mouse.
Yes, it's not. It's not even possible. I know what's that? That's it. That's all,
Middle
folks.
management.
Yes. But how do you end it with? That's all, folks. No, nothing profound. You have the last word.
I don't know. Do I have a last word?
Let us see. Open your mouth and the Father will say.
Well, okay, and as I said, cognizing emptiness came up. So I find it's always interesting how people are always looking to find, the location of mind or so-called consciousness, and of course, if you're more of a materialist, scientific, reductionist type, then you're looking at anything that's empirical, anything that's observable to do that. But very few people seem to ask, well, what is it that's cognizing the brain and the form and all of this? They're always looking within those bits to find the answer rather than saying, well, hang on, the cell's getting formed, through this biology and whatever. Well, it's the space that's holding all of that, that's doing all that animation, that's doing all that cognition. And that's like the massive elephant in the living room, isn't it? Because it's sort of like, well, there's your answer, the space itself is consciousness.
Cognizing emptiness. I have a couple of
Cognizing
things.
emptiness, yeah.
And thank you for that. I have just a couple of very quick ones. I don't want to exclude anyone. I was just... Chandika says, Nisargadatta smoking bidis while pointing to I am, that was itself a badass. and Ram asks, dude was a total weapon. And then Chandika says, on the subject of seeking, I think Nisargadatta said, if you got it, you won't be here. Yeah, that might be a contextual. We are here, and that was established long before because of the love for the exploration. There is no reason of seeking. I mean, majority of this group is beyond the need. And Nisargadatta itself, he was there, even though he wasn't a seeker. Benjamin says, there is no dreamer and no dream, only dreaming. The seer and the seen are ripples in the same motionless sea. The seeing. Beautiful. We are not caught in the dream. We are the dreaming itself. That is absolutely beautifully put. And Sally says, it is great to hear everyone. Can people who are talking put the talking stick close to their mouth when they speak? Yes, especially those with wide gestures. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for the participation. And for the next one, yes, Sally, thank you for the reminder. Bring it on the beginning.